It's the Daily Solutions Float Tank Podcast. It's the Daily Solutions Float Tank Podcast. It's the Daily Solutions Float Tank Podcast. Subscribe online.
Sanitation, filtration, pumps, ozone disinfection, memberships and discounts, tracking customer accounts, epoxy floors, epoxy grout, epoxy down your shower spout, Facebook pixels, Facebook ads, jump on every Facebook ad.
All right. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
This is Ashkahn.
And I'm Graham over here.
And boy, we got a big one. We got a big one today.
Oh, it's not.
It's a normal size one.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make them feel excited, you know?
Well,
Kind of trying to pump people
and it's
up.
great. It's going to be a great episode.
It's going to be a really good one.
And you did a great job pumping people up, too,
Thanks.
I think. Yeah.
And you did a really good job complimenting me just now.
Oh, thanks. Well, anyway, our question for today is, what do you think about 75-minute floats?
75-minute floats.
The old 75er.
Yeah. The old Siete Cinco.
I think they're good.
I kind of
Cool.
like them. So
Yeah.
here's the deal.
Your deal, not the deal.
Here's my deal.
Yeah.
There's I think it has to do with how many float tanks you have and how many tanks you're trying to turn over in a transition. Because there's definitely situations like what we're in where we're doing 90-minute floats and we put 30 minutes of time in addition to that to turn all the rooms over and get the next people in. And we have 6 float tanks. And that's kind of intense. It's intense to turn over 6 rooms in 30 minutes.
Well, and we also do all of our floats at the exact same time.
Yes.
So they don't stagger at all. It's not like 3 on 1 hour and 3 on another hour. So every 2 hours, there's 6 people getting out and 6 people getting in.
Yeah. And we've thought about changing our transition times to something like 35 or 40 minutes, but then everything just gets on this really weird time of day. You know, your appointments start at 6:25 and then the next one's 7:40.
Yep.
So there's just something that's been slightly unappealing about that.
But
if you were to want that kind of cushy transition time, a 75-minute float is a nice.
with a 45-minute transition.
With a 45-minute transition.
Because it keeps things on the hour.
Yeah.
So it would be every other hour.
Yeah.
There would be a float, and you'd have, a little nicer transition time. I actually know some centers that have been transitioning. I didn't actually mean to say that. But they themselves have been transitioning their transition time length to be longer.
Right.
I know one that went up to 60 minutes in between floats.
Wow.
But they're a single person
Okay.
running their center, and they just wanted to actually have time to sit down with clients afterwards and get back to that homey kind of feel,
Right,
you know?
Sure.
But yeah, I know more than one that's also switched to 45-minute transitions.
Yeah, and I know somebody else who does 60 minutes too. So yeah, it's definitely
I wonder if it's the same person.
we can talk about it after this.
Yeah. Thanks for that. So I was going to say the thing that I don't like about 75-minute floats is related to the exact same thing, which is if you're doing 75-minute floats to try and fit more in a day, all of a sudden you can't actually start on the same times,
Right.
On even times. So if you're running a 75-minute float but want a half an hour transition, now your whole time
Getting all
slots are
crazy.
getting into 15 minutes, and you
getting
can't
all
just say it's
crazy.
every other hour. You lose a little bit of simplicity in it. So
Yeah. I do feel like 75 is, in my mind, a decent improvement over 60. I feel like 75 is starting at the range where I feel like I'd feel comfortable someone kind of going in there and getting a nice. I mean, we're big fans of 90-minute floats, so you're getting
I guess full
my kind of
disclaimer here.
hardcore opinion here. But so I always think 60-minute first-time experience is not as ideal, and that people will kind of sink into it and get that deeper experience with 90 minutes. But I feel like 75 is something that can get people a nice experience too.
Yeah, and it's also the level where you'd stop worrying as much about 5 minutes here and there, which is really nice. The thing about 60-minute floats is if someone gets in and you didn't quite get them in on time,
Right.
that just impinges so much on their, it's such a high percentage of their overall float time. So I like 90 minutes, and even 2.5-hour late night floats are better. You get one of our 2.5-hour floaters in 10 minutes late because you're the only one there and people were coming out slow and they're like, whatever, I'll chill and have tea, Still got 2 hours and 20 minutes to hop in the float tank. So I like that 75 minutes is edging on there. If you do get someone in 5 minutes late, it's not as big a deal as with a 60-minute float.
Yeah, almost like 80 minutes. Like an 80-minute float with like a 40-minute transition.
Yeah, like 77.
77 and a half minutes.
Yeah,
It's
just meet in
that's like
between.
just that nice time,
Yeah.
you know?
It feels nice.
So that would be my recommendation.
Then you have to have 27 and a half minute transitions.
Uh-huh. And that extra half minute, I think, is really what adds kind of comfort to the entire thing.
Yeah, but in general, I like them. I mean, I've floated for as short as just only being in the tank for half an hour and as long as being in there for 12 hours. So as far as length of float and being able to have a good experience, I think it's possible at any length that you're doing it long or short. So, I mean, yeah, kind of what you were saying about first-time experience, too, is interesting. Like, if someone is only offering 75-minute floats versus offering 75-minute and 90 or 75-minute and 60 is also kind of an interesting question.
Yeah. It feels too close together to... I feel like it'd be
Weird
not
to do,
worth
like,
it to offer
75 with
75
anything.
and
It's
90 or 60. Like, I'd do 75 and...
3 hours.
Yeah, something much more significant. Like,
Yeah.
And there are some centers out there doing... We put out this industry report every year.
Yeah.
Float Tank Solutions. And there's a stat in there about what lengths of service people offer. So you can check it out. We'll put it in the show notes of how many people out there offer 75-minute floats.
Yeah, and you can see it's the bulk of people really are just 60 and 90 minutes.
Yeah,
and that's
it's just like 3 weirdos out there. You know who you are.
Awesome. Anything else about 75-minute floats?
Getting you 3 weirdos, like, get in touch with. I'm kind of interested to hear what
How it's
people's
going.
experiences are. Like, if people, I guess I'd really, I want to see, like, if there's a center that only offers 75 minutes.
We answer questions, Ashkahn. We don't ask them.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I guess this will just remain a mystery forever. No, I'm good then.
All right. If you are one of those centers, though, reach out. And you can reach out if you have a question or anything you want to send us at floattanksolutions.com/podcast.
That's right. And we'll talk to you later.
Bye.